Alright, what is up guys? This is Tcg Sam here, and in today's video, I'm going to show you guys how I side deck in virtual worlds and essentially my thought process when I'm putting cards from my side deck into my main deck post game 2 and 3. So if you like this type of content, be sure to let me know by leaving a like, commenting, subscribing, because it really helps keep me motivated to keep posting more videos like this. And I've actually noticed recently that very few of the people that actually watch my videos are subscribed to the channel. So please, if you enjoy the content that you're watching, please do me a huge favor by subscribing. It only takes a second, but it really makes a difference for me. So I'd really appreciate that. But with that being said, let's just hop straight into it. So before I tell you how to decide, I'm going to show you guys what my side deck is looking like right now. So at the moment of filming this, of course, like, the side deck is subject to change pretty soon. But anyways, at the moment of filming this, I'm playing 1 Pankratops, 3 Lancia, 1 Aerial, 1 Token Collector, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, triple evenly. This is supposed to be the third evenly. 1 Reboot, 1 Mischief for the Gnomes, and triple dimensional barriers. So now that you see my side, I guess I'll explain what my thought process is going into game 2. So most of the time, I would say honestly, you have a very good shot of winning game 1, even if you don't win the die roll, just because of how many board breaking cards you have. Recently, I swapped out the Gammas for Forbidden Chalices. We played Dark Rulers as well, and we have things like Kowloon to place King Long face up, just to break boards. We have a lot of cards to break boards. So the first thing I'm going to be talking about is how I approach going second. So against the combo deck, if Artifact Lancia hits that specific combo deck, then I'll definitely set this in. So things like the Mirror, Phantom Knights, for example, like, I would definitely put in Artifact Lancia. However, if it's not like a combo deck that loses to this, something like Drytron perhaps, then honestly my side deck isn't super geared towards that, just because we have cards like Dark Ruler in the main deck already. The only thing I consider siding in against those, like decks that don't lose to Lancia, so like Pankratops, evenly no, because like Drytron's just negated, so it doesn't do anything. So pretty much the only card I'm siding against decks like Drytron, decks that put up like actual hard negates, so like Dragon Link, Drytron, like, it's probably just Pankratops, and I'm just keeping all the consistency cards in my deck, so that I'm able to dig for cards like Chalice or Dark Ruler no more. However, against decks that don't put up hard negates, so decks like Phantom Knights, for example, I'm also going to put in Evenly Matched. Evenly Matched is an incredibly powerful trap card. Essentially, like, it's hard for you already to play around like Destroy Phoenix Enforcer, but pair with like an Appaloosa plus like Fog Blades, that makes it even harder to play. And Evenly Matched just is honestly so incredible. Like, obviously they're not keeping Fog Blade, they're probably keeping Destroy Phoenix Enforcer or Appaloosa, but then you have so many ways to out those cards. Like I said, you have 3 Kowloons, 3 King Longs, 3 Chalices, and 3 Dark Ruler no more. So essentially, you're always going to be able to play through that afterwards. And Evenly Matched is just honestly a huge game changer in that. Even against like mid-range decks like Fwanderies, Evenly Matched is absolutely incredible as well, just because they don't put up a lot of hard negates. They're able to play on your turn, but in different ways. They're not able to like essentially put up hard negates too much of the time. So Evenly is very, very good against those matchups that, like I said, that pretty much just aren't Drytron or Dragon. Like, even the Mirror, your opponent probably isn't going to play around this. They might play around like Dark Ruler by siding like anti-spell and stuff, but that's where a card like this is also really important as well. I just can't say enough good things about Evenly. That's why I recently changed it in my side deck. I definitely recommend you guys keep an eye on this card. This card is actually honestly insane in this deck. But like I said, also against combo decks, Pankratops comes in just because Pankratops is at least trades 1 for 1, and honestly, most of the time it just trades 2 for 1, because like, you just threaten one of their negations, kill it, and then force out another negation. It's just super, super powerful. So that's pretty much it going second against combo decks. Going second against trap decks, we have the Evenlies, the Feather Duster, Red Reboot, Pankratops. Essentially, all of these are huge blowouts against them. Evenly Matched, if your opponent doesn't have a judgment, your opponent essentially just is losing that game, I promise you, 100%. Same thing with Duster, Reboot. These are just huge blowout cards that, honestly, if your opponent doesn't have an answer to, you should just be winning that game, because it doesn't matter with a card like Reboot if you give them an extra card, because you're usually just going to Zeus them. Feather Duster, of course, you're able to clear their entire back row. And of course, Evenly, if you don't use your battle phase, that's not a big deal. You're essentially able to just control the game from there with cards like Chuche. And of course, Pankratops, very, very powerful against most back row decks, assuming they put a monster on board, of course. Like Altergeist, for example, is really good against. Against like Eldritch, it's not as great because like unless they side in Spectre of Order, but definitely like these 5 cards are going in 100%. You can side out cards like Dark Ruler, Forbidden Chalice against like those back row decks. Like these just aren't going to be doing that much. You want to keep all your consistency cards in because if you're able to play the game, then your opponent's just not going to be able to beat you because your deck is just, I would say this deck just grinds a lot better. So yeah, side out the monster hate for the spell and trap hate. It's pretty simple. That's what I approach. So I have 6 cards in my side for going second against trap decks. So now I'm going to be talking about what I side in going first. So going first, you can see we play these seemingly random one-ofs, and the reason I play that is because I play Beatrice in my extra deck. So if you guys haven't seen my combo tutorial already, be sure to check it out. I'll put a link in the description. I talk about why I play this card and why these cards are so good. But of course, these just come in against very specific matchups. Token Collector for Sword Soul. Mischief of the Gnomes is more flexible. It's good against every single XYZ synchro deck. So like, even against like a deck like Pendulums, which can link, like it just screws up their synchros and XYZs. If all they're doing is like making an access code, that's not the worst thing in the world because you can just like, you have many ways to get rid of it with like Chuche and whatever and your monster negation. Nailshot Aerial, this should be a Necro World Banshee plus a Zombie World. And then if I'm playing that package, I would just end up cutting, one of the Dimensional Barriers in that case. If I did get my hands on Necro World, Banshee, and Zombie World, I'd definitely be playing that over this. It's just, essentially, these 3 will cover pretty much everything in the meta, assuming this was Zombie World. Because Zombie World kills decks like Dragon Link, Flaunderies, Mischief of the Gnomes kills decks like Virtual World, Sword Soul, Burning Abyss, things like that. Token Collector kills Sword Soul as well. So you have so much versatility with a card like Beatrice. That's pretty much the main like change to my side deck that I really care about. I think pretty obviously going first, you want to side out cards like Dark Ruler, essentially if you're just putting in these. Dark Ruler's not going to do you much. Forbidden Chalice is a little better because it can be used as like a pseudo imperm, but definitely do not side out these consistency cards. Even if you might say, oh, it's redundant to play so many. If you're able to combo, you just want to be able to combo turn 1. It doesn't matter like if you see too many of these, as long as you're able to play, that's all you care about. That's how you're winning the game. So when going first, take out the Dark Rulers, keep in the consistency cards. And like I said, these are for very specific matchups. And then finally, Dimensional Barrier. This is for those combo matchups very specifically. So this is just extra hate against decks like Sword Soul, Virtual World, Burning Abyss, stuff like that. Lyralisk. Like, honestly, it's just super, super good, this format, just because it's really hard for your opponent to like play around. Because essentially, once they commit like 2 bodies to making their Synchro XYZ, you flip this, their Synchro is dead for the turn, or Synchro XYZ is dead for the turn, and they wasted two materials on the card. And that's honestly just so huge because you're just able to kill them next turn most likely. I also like a card like Dimensional Barrier and these because they don't lose to traditional side decks versus Virtual World. People tend to side in cards like Dark Ruler, Forbidden Droplets and stuff to negate the monsters. That's all well and good. I'm fully expecting that, which is why I side in these. I don't rely on cards like Crystal Wing and Shenshin to actually be able to resolve Game 2. I change up my playstyle completely Game 2. Essentially, if I'm going first Game 2, my goal is just to draw as many cards as possible. So I'm making a Charge Warrior, making a Coral if possible, and ending on an Archithes. I will even end on a Croc over a Shenshin if it means I can dig for like one of the, like this Dimensional Barrier specifically, just because of how powerful it is. And essentially, my logic is if you draw one Dimensional Barrier, you just skip their turn and you should just be able to win. I guess one thing I haven't mentioned is going first against the back row deck. So if you lose game 1 to a back row deck, it's a little more difficult because Dimensional Barrier doesn't do anything. Your Beatrice targets also don't necessarily do anything. It becomes a little more wonky. Honestly, I might just try playing some mind games with them and forcing them to go first if I lose game 1 against a back row deck. Honestly, I don't think most players won't see this coming, and the reason I'm forcing them to go first is these cards are just huge blowouts. Like, if you resolve one of these, like, you're just able to win the game. And your opponent will have clogged up their deck with, like, so many going second cards. Because, of course, like, who's going to let a back row deck go first? Like, it just doesn't make sense. That's kind of, like, the one weakness in my side deck right now. I don't really have anything against, like, spell trap decks going first. So I have to resort to, like, mind games and forcing them to go first and hoping that they sided incorrectly and just hoping that I'm able to blow them out with one of these blowout cards. But, like, 9 times out of 10... I would say you have a very good matchup against back row decks anyways, so even if you don't draw like one of these cards, you still should be fine. But like I said, mostly my side deck is for those combo matchups, and hopefully I was able to thoroughly explain like what I do when I'm siding. So like I said before, it's this side deck's subject to change, so just keep in mind this may be irrelevant by the time this you're watching this video, but essentially the principle, I will summarize it, is to not side out your combo cards. Essentially here, I've just listed out all the possible cards that I would ever consider siding out in the deck. Like, aside from these 11 cards, I pretty much would never touch any other card in the deck just because they're all core engine cards. So they're all your virtual world names and cards, your emergency teleports, your pod desires. Those are very, very important for you to keep in your deck. So I would never touch those. The only thing I would ever side out, considering siding out, are these. Going second against the combo deck, it'd probably just be like these that go in. Just because Foolish Burial, I feel fine with cutting, even though it's consistency cards, because that 6th card kind of fixes the math a little bit. It makes it more likely that you're able to draw a playable hand in that case. So I feel okay with siding these cards out. Game 2, going second against a combo deck, just because of how powerful like these cards are in helping you break boards. And of course, if you need cards like Pancratops plus Evenly or Pancratops plus Lancia, those are also very, very strong as well. Going first, to summarize, of course, you want to take out Dark Rulers. They don't really do much for you. You'd rather keep in Chalices. Unless you're siding like super heavily, which I don't think you will. I think the most you're siding in going first is Triple Dimensional Barrier, maybe one of the targets for Beatrice, and in that case you just take out the Dark Ruler. I would take out like one of the goods, Foolish Burial goods, which is not a big deal, just for those 4 cards. So like I said, going first, you don't side in that many cards, so you realistically only ever take out the Dark Rulers going first. And going first against trap decks, like I said, just honestly, 9 times out of 10, it doesn't happen because usually, like, I'm able to push through back row game 1. Even if I'm not, I might throw a curveball at them, make them go first, just because of how powerful these blowout cards are. So, hopefully, guys, that was, you guys understand how it is I approach siding. Let me know what you think of my siding patterns. Like I said before, I'll say it again. This side deck is subject to change. It varies heavily from format to format, but the ideas are the same. Keep your virtual world cards in, and don't side them out. Like, just side out all your pretty much your non-engine cards that aren't like very good extenders. So essentially just these. But yeah, that's gonna do it for me, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. It's a little bit different from what I normally do, so let me know what you guys thought about it in the comments below. If you guys have any suggestions for what I should side, maybe do let me know in the comments below. But with that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and with that, I will see you guys soon. Take care.